Hello? The fuck? Let me change the name of this. What's it gonna be called? God, Community, and Self. Save, edit. Let's change this to be the Doug Mug picture. God, Community, and Self. Let me get some music going for myself so I don't drown out my own fucking thoughts, though. Turn that shit way the fuck down. Alright, just making sure that, Alright, I'm streaming. The stream is happening. Okay. So, God, Community, and Self. What am I thinking about? I had some thoughts. So, I was thinking a little bit about self-worth and what is my self-worth and what is my value to Doug? What is my value to other people, or what is my what can I give in a certain situation? And I think the place where you have to start when coming to question what am I? You could obviously say, I am made of atoms. You could go the scientific route of, I am made of atoms, and one day I will turn to dust, and nothing that I do will ever matter, because at the end of all universe is dust. And that would be diminishing the energy or the mental capacity that we are, thinking and breathing and passing on electromagnetic waves to each other. But that's not scientific at all, because there's no proof. So if you go off what I know, is when someone dies, their body decomposes, they're eaten by worms, and they're put in the ground, or they're burnt, and they just, dust. And eventually the universe, if you're an immortal, right, even the world is gonna crack open, and Earth is gonna turn into a bunch of tiny asteroids, and then the sun's gonna explode, and then the universe will implode on itself, and we'll all come to an end. And what does that really mean? That's not the fun way of looking at it. That's the kind of boring way of looking at, well, I have limited time, because it's all dust. I'm dust, you're dust. He's dust, she's dust, kind of thing. So how do I take my mental space out of that rigid way of thinking, I guess? And how do we move that to a more concrete, or more fun way of looking at it, which is you can bring religion into that, which is very fun to do. I've talked to a lot. I wouldn't say exactly that I'm a religious guy myself, or that I am, how do I say this? I'm not agnostic, but some people are very quick to label themselves, or put into black and white, and the hammer down on people that are on the fence, and say, well, if you don't have faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, you are agnostic. Or if you don't have solidified beliefs, then you have no beliefs at all. And I don't really care, I think, is where I'd go with that. Opinions are all opinions. What do you know? That sort of thing. Sorry, I'm distracted by my music real quick. So yeah, then I get to the point of so yeah, you have to make this more interesting of what is my self-worth. I then go to the God question, where let's say there's a God. What is my worth to God? And there's plenty of ways to look at it from that perspective of is God an all-seeing, all-powerful being? Does God love us? Are we ants to God? That's a lot of the question. A lot of the questions, at least, is what I would say. Making sure I'm recording my mic. I think I am recording my mic. That's good. So, a simple one would be, if God is an all-powerful being and we're a bunch of ants, this is a way I've heard of looking at it, and God sees us as like a science experiment, right? Because there's a belief I have is that if that's the way it is, we have, if God is truly who humans believe to God to be and to have the power and the all-seeing eye and the extreme hand over the structure of our society, and not even that, just every living thing, then who am I to try to understand what God is thinking? It's like an ant trying to understand what I'm thinking. A buddy of mine that I was talking to about this was like, Jesus was a scientifically engineered ant that was injected into our little ant society because God doesn't fully understand. Is that how I would want to say that? Does God, I mean, in this way of looking at it, God understands how we move, how we think, and made a replica of us to interject into our world view of things, because God can't put God, I'm not going to say himself, because to assume to give God a male or female genitalia would be pointless, if that makes any sense. Let me get my glasses in case I'm going to read some chat. My subscribers do think I look like Franz J. So, yeah, Jesus, right? So if you're implementing Jesus into our world, it's more of a test, or like it's a science experiment. If you think of God like that, because what is, or you could think of God as a cruel sort of being that has no feelings for you, and you are God is an emotional creature, you could say, or an energy full of the same sort of things that make you, me, and whatever pump. God is if you bring God to your level, right? Which I don't think is the right thing to do when looking at the image of God. But let's say you try to bring God to your level, and you say God is just as vain as I am. And then you start to say stuff like, well, yeah, what was the point? God made us all to have a good time, or to see us fuck about like an anthill, and then there's all these little lives, and then it gets a little, I assume that would be boring. So then, God gives us the want for more, and the want to achieve more and rise to higher heights, which brings upon wars and conflicts, which is entertainment and trouble for God. You could look at God that way, where this is all just a big sandbox that allows God to, what am I in the grand scheme of things, rather than just a soldier in God's beautiful, bloody conflict that he's constructed. I say he, that time, because that's the common way to do it. Drink some fucking water. Where did I put my water at? I'm kind of... Oh, where's my water? Bloody hell. This is getting difficult. Hold on a second. I would put it all the way fucking over there. That's awesome. Doug Mug Power. So, continuing that thought. There's multiple different ways to look at it. Is okay, let's go off that. So, there's the God is an all-powerful being that, if we even try to understand God if we try to make God human, that's taking away from the fact that God is God. Like, well, why would we try to... Comparing your traits to God is pointless, because God does not have the same mental as you at all. Like the human mind is a original thought, right? You have the dog mind or the monkey mind, where you're thinking of your life through the lenses of a monkey. You're not thinking your life as the lenses of God. So how could I begin to even compare my thoughts or my feelings to God's thoughts or feelings? But if you take it in a very I think a lot of people take it in a very liberal sense. I don't mean liberal in a political way, where God is vain and is in it for the human aspect. God wants to be entertained, and this is all entertainment. Then what is my worth for God there? What can I do? I guess that's kind of a Terry Davis way of looking at it, is what can I do to give my prayer to God? Because what is my one teensy tiny life worth to everything? The whole entire history of the world. What is my current life worth to God, other than some form of art? And if you watch a movie, I think it's called the House That Jack Built. He views, and the guy in the movie views serial murder as an art form. And is that an art form that God, who sees this all as a big game, would approve of? Maybe. But then that also calls on the question of heaven and hell. And I also have there's a whole other spiritual side of this that I'd like to dive into in this talk. But I want to kind of do this in an order of operations if I can. I'm using this, I'm trying to write a essay of some sort. So I'm trying to gather my thoughts. That's what the purpose of this live stream is, so I can gather my... this is a cool song. You guys can't hear it. It's just me rambling. Hello. Where was I at? So, prayers for God. What is if not to go to heaven? I don't know. don't think that should be the purpose. I think a prayer, offering or a prayer for God, if truly meant from the soul and not some sort of human crab grasping at the sides of the bin or the bowl. If it's true, if it's from a point of view that God gave me this beautiful life, and I am living and breathing due to the life that God has gifted, then I want to show my thanks in some sort of way. And I will give the life that was given to me purpose. If I just throw it away and spend the life doing nothing, what would the purpose be of that? That will, or the entertainment be for that God, if that makes sense. I think that's what I'm thinking about, is if you do a prayer or some sort of gift for God, the value there has to be some sort of value in it. So, like committing murders or starting a war or nuking the whole entire planet. Is that a prayer for God? I think it could be seen as one. But what are you doing in your small? I don't even know if this is how I believe it to be true, but if you see God as a vain freak that wants entertainment, then what are you doing to show your thanks for life? I think this is also, you don't need to see him as a freak to show your thanks for life. There also doesn't need to be no data. Am I cooked? Hold on. I'm just gonna make sure I'm still streaming here. Okay, we're good. That's fine. To show your thank for life, I don't think there needs to be an idea of God in your head. I don't think that is a need to, if you truly do love life and its gift, and but it's only a gift if it's from God. And thank you, Liam. It's only a gift if it's from God. And other than that, it's a gift from your parents, I guess. Your the human, the people that birthed you. If you go back to the original point, which was we are all nothing. But if it's from God, then life would be a gift. And how do I show my expression of a gift? Now there's the question that goes back to, are you showing an expression of thanks to the God that is vain? Are you showing these are two different scenarios. There's a million other different ways to look at this. Are you showing your expression or your gift for God to the one that is not so vain? And how do I do that? Me personally, to my original point. I think we should save that for the end. I think that would be a good point to add to the end. So those are the what are you doing? Creating a movie, is art what God finds entertaining? Does God find the same things entertaining that we find entertaining? That's the other major point. Does God find just humanness entertaining? What is entertainment for God? should I be showing my thanks just as I would find fit, and then the sacrifice or the time and sacrifice is what that would be. That would be sacrifice of your life and time to make a gift for God. Is that what makes it worth it, or is it do I need to make something entertaining? Does it need to be a level of, does God judge each and every gift based on its entertainment value rather than its human value? And that would be to see God as, relate myself to God, which is not something that I would say is correct to do. But then you look into it in a heaven and hell perspective, which is really odd. Where, what kind of battle are you facing for heaven and hell? What is the lesson that people that look at the Bible, or people that read the Quran, or people that I forget the name of the Jewish one. I'm not religious studied. I'm more just, I talk to people a lot. What's up, Sam? Sam's the funniest person to chime in on this awesome stream. So I'm talking about what is my value, Sam? And I'm starting at the spiritual level of how am I valued spiritually, and then I'm going to move to how am I valued in my community, or through people I know, and then how do I value myself? I think that's how I want to do that. I think that's also Doug Mug. Check the Doug Mug, it's on the phone. Right now we're on God, and I just moved to heaven and hell, which not even sure how to tackle that idea, because do I go to hell if I did a thing that is going to hell, or is it a struggle to what is the you've got a million different voices that can tell you. I think that's really funny, is you have all the million voices that can tell you whether you're going to they can tell you, yeah, you're going to go to hell, buddy, and I know why. And who are you to speak for God in that way? And is God, is this a God question? Or who, does God have a hierarchy of worker underlings where we have angels or some sort of cosmic being that is a lower level than God deciding these lower fates? Because, does God really have the time to go, hey, fuck off, to heaven or hell? I mean, what if there isn't a heaven and hell, and at the end of it all, there is a God? Let's say there is a God, but there's no heaven and hell, and you get to meet God, has a little sit down chat with you at the end of it all, and then at the end of it he goes, okay, no, fuck off now, and then you just disappear. Just as a little fun get together. It's an aftermath, like is that preferable? Is an eternity of nothing preferable to an eternity of? Because if you think about life, because that's also heaven and hell. The idea of that, I don't know if this is part of my discussion. I don't know if this is worth talking about. This is kind of a tangent, isn't it? Um, Thank you, Sam. But that would kind of be a tangent, wouldn't it? Because you talk about life after death, and that's, is my value as a person in my life right now equivalent to where I'm going to be at after death? And is life have a general point after death? And that's the question, I guess, is does it really matter at all? Like, so when you, like, imagine that, right? Imagine being an immortal and living forever in the world and seeing it all crumble and fade to nothing. And then you just sit there and you're in space, but you can't die. And how fucking terrifying that would be, and boring and horrible that would be. It would be so fucking boring after a while, just floating into nothingness, which was what makes life so awesome, that it's only like, really 60 years of awesomeness, and then you die. That's not enough years, I would say, but it's enough to make you not fucking hate it. It's enough to be like, that's good enough. I can take 60. I think there's a lot of people that go to their deathbed and talking a lot about death. It's not the point. But I'm going to continue the thought, and then I'll circle back to what I was trying to say. There's a lot of people that go to their deathbed and then they're like, oh, I'm at peace. I don't think that's ever true. I don't want to fucking die. If you truly die without at full peace, having done everything you wanted to do, that's kind of awesome. I can see that being a possibility. But I don't even upload YouTube videos, and I'm comfortable with the finished product of something that I love. How am I going to be comfortable with the finished product of my life? You know what I mean? That's like gonna hate that. Gonna hate that. Even if it was a great life, like I could die tomorrow and be like, I have lived a beautiful life. I've talked, so many awesome people. That's gonna go. I guess I'm gonna talk more about that later when I talk about community. But still, it would suck. So we have this finite amount of time. And then if we had infinite time, let's say in heaven and hell, and heaven is you sitting around doing what? Forever. And what does it feel like? Does it feel, like you can't even begin to try to understand what heaven would feel like. If it's good, if heaven's supposed to be awesome, how am I even supposed to understand? Like, is happiness forever also sucks? Like, like you think about shows like Evangelion or something like that, and how they try to combine the human consciousness so that if you watch The Louch and the Rebellion, Code Geass, right? And some of the people in that show's goal is to have the human conscious be all together, so that we're all happy and don't hate each other. What would the much like a vain god would say, what would the fun in that be? I feel like I'm going way off topic. So you come to that wall of what would heaven be? And is heaven on earth I don't think that's a great argument either, because I think a lot of people go, not me. I have a pretty good life, but a lot of other people are experiencing what they would consider hell on earth. But is hell, to that extent of, is hell really? I have many different images. My audio cuts out every few seconds. Really? Wow. Let me see. Customization. Welcome back, Liam. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking at my health here. Well, I hope to continue. There's no way to fix it. My internet sucks right now. Let's try this. Let's see. Hello. Let's see if this works. Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm recording my voice properly. I want to make sure I get all my thoughts. All right, so hell, right? What could it be? What is the idea? Are there layers of hell, like different mythologies have, where if you stack rocks on the top of hell, or you go to the bottom pits of hell, and it's nothing but screaming agony, and it's billions of people down there screaming at the top of their lungs, and that's just forever. So that would be horrific. But do you get used to that, or does that just you never get used to that? Not that I'd want to find out, but I always imagined hell as one of two things. These are my personal, what I think hell would be terrible as, what I would think would be absolutely horrible. These are just me giving little ideas for when I get sent to hell. Not sure why I would, but I have a few ideas. It could be a small dusty room with a fan that spins very slowly, and it slowly boils you, but not to the extent of killing you. And you kind of just breathe hot, dusty air forever. That would be terrible. Or it could be like a bad trip that never ends. That could also be hell. Imagine just in the disassociation state, and that never stops ever again. Losing your goddamn mind. That would be terrifying. But back to worth in the eyes of God. So there's plenty of scripture, I'm sure, and beliefs and people's opinions of what actually happens when you're going to die. What happens when you're going to freaking die? Or is it is my worth an action that I took? Is repenting, what is repenting? You know what I mean? What is the idea of being able to repent my actions? Is that, I think I think there's a lot of, if I were to believe in the whole God thing, I would believe in also Satan to some extent, where Satan tries to infiltrate the biggest groups that say to worship God. And that makes me wonder, for someone that wants to actually care about God, wouldn't the best action be self-practice and isolated practice? Even though church is a community-based thing, it's really scary. Moving slowly to community here. Church is a community-based institution, even though I have a lot to say about my own personal beliefs, but isn't beliefs like what matters to that sort of idea is I believe in a more spiritual side of understanding, where it's like karma, but you have to have an understanding of your karma, and an understanding of the foot that you put forward is the foot that carries you to. I guess that's what I would do with self. This is a self chapter. I started exploring self chapter a little bit. So, the church, right? That's a community of people practicing faith together and studying faith in a group. And is those faiths more likely to be attacked by negative doers that see, it's like that see the positive aspects of that. The negative aspects of life will always come to dampen, good versus evil sort of thing, where no matter where you find good and cherish the good, and I forget the fucking word I'm trying to say, and you push good to grow, and in an area of your life, there will always be an evil that will try to counteract that good, because balances and stuff like that. So human life is very, you could be a hermit, right? But a hermit is still enjoying other humans to an extent. I guess you could live in the forest and not talk to anybody ever again, but you're still living with life. It's not like you're living without life. You've got the creatures of the forest, you've got the animals that you may hunt for food, you've got the trees and the brush. You are living within a life structure. So we like to live in life. If you're someone that sits in your room and listens to music all day and doesn't talk to anybody, you're still experiencing music from the people that have created that music for you, and you're consuming that. Bless up, Flynn. What's up? Good luck, Dad. With tools, make sure to hold the flashlight. What was I thinking? What time is it? It's not that late. The danger of community is also the point of wanting community, having a group of people come together to make something beautiful. like I think if I were to say what is my value as a person, um, I've been told. No, my sleep is not fucked up right now. I'm just kind of I have a lot to do. I'm in a transitional period in my life right now, and I have a lot to do. This is part of that. I'm not just streaming and ranting on YouTube for can't go to bed reasons. This was I had ideas. You know, you have ideas before you go to bed, and then you're like, "Fuck, I gotta write these down" or some shit like that. What just happened? What happened to my music? Yes, I'm still watching. Thank you. Yeah, this is just I'm trying to get a better grouping on what I want to say. I'm going to write an essay. I'm applying to give you the real of it. I'm applying for colleges, and I want to write my college essay on God, community, and self. I'm not sure that's actually what you're supposed to do it on, but fuck it, I don't care. I figured it would be fun. A fun read, you know, if I write it right. I'm not a great writer. I haven't written a lot in a while. I've been writing a lot of emails. Yeah, I'm actually. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So what have I done for community? I know that at my last job, I was told this, and I could feel this. I'm a bright person. People like having me around. And leaving that job was hurt to do, because I left a me-sized hole in those people's lives. But I need to do something else and not do that job. That's community for them. That was very personal, though. It's more of a... Could I go into a paragraph talking about my military experience and the brotherly bonds you form between those types of guys, and sleeping, drinking in the same room for months on end with the same 10 dudes over and over and over again. And why you grow to care after those people. And what does it mean to care for those people? And what do they see in you? And do they actually see you as someone that gives a shit? Or do they see you as someone that gives a shit with only... because you have a purpose to give a shit, because you want them to work behind it? How do I handle a young person that has no drive? And why is it that I have to handle them? And then why do they have no drive? Why is it so hard to find purpose for young people? These are all questions I've had to ask myself when trying to motivate the people I used to work with. And motivating them felt wrong. It felt like something. It felt incorrect. Which is why I don't want to do that job, because I knew that I would have to be doing this motivation thing with 19-year-olds and 18-year-olds my whole career, because that's what the military is, you know, and it's 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds coming in and wanting and doing this job. So you would just be trying to motivate them, and it's an endless cycle of trying to motivate people that have no purpose, especially they join the military. Like, that's like the least purpose-filled thing. Other than sometimes you get your occasional guy that joined the military because he's gung-ho about that sort of thing, and he has all the purpose in the world. Or you get a guy like me where I've hit rock bottom and realized that doing literally anything was awesome versus doing nothing. At least that's how I view life. Or doing nothing is kind of fucking terrible. And having a job was awesome. I said that on a beat of the drop of the song I'm listening to, so that was cool. But I can't make another human feel the way that I did about the job, where it's just his job, and then you want to learn how to do it because it makes it easier for everybody around you if you know how to do your job, and that's a nice thing to do. It's also just more fun than not doing anything, is learning how to do your job better. And explaining that to a 19-year-old that just doesn't want to do anything is a hard thing to do. And I didn't want to have to do that over and over and over again. So instead, what I do with my free time is I explain to 19-year-olds how cool making art is, and then I let them do with that what they may. And I've gotten many varying responses from that, but some of them very positive. Some of them have been very good experiences that I've had with some people in this B-Hop community thing that I'm a part of. And can I put this in my college essay that I'm an online gaming guy and I help people grow as artists, and that's what I've been doing for the past 6 years of my life, kind of, is getting people and introducing people to other artists that I think they would work well together, and then having them build stuff together, and then it's all for the purpose so that I can look at their art. Is that it's kind of a selfish method, but it's also so fun. I've had people tell me, hey, if I never met you, I probably wouldn't be making these videos. And I'm like, I don't know if that's actually a good thing. I don't know if you still making Counter-Strike videos is a positive. But art is fun to make, or creation is a fun thing to do, and finding something that's fun to, like Counter-Strike, is a fun medium for creation. So it's not wrong to want to make something in that. What's up, Ram? It's not wrong to want to make something in Counter-Strike. But how do I say that? How do I tell a 19-year-old kid in the same way that I was doing when I was in the military, telling them to get motivated for work, which is a lot more diminishing. You can get people motivated for art, but can you show them that it's fun for an art reason rather than how do I teach humbleness to children? What career path do I want to go into? I have a few ideas in my head. I either want to do actually just go to college and then actually do nothing with my college and do food industry for the rest of my life, which I think would be funny. I think being in the film industry would be cool, but I also don't want to be in the Hollywood industry. That's my biggest problem. So being able to make some sort of film thing, but I don't like. I want to make movies, but I don't want to make movies. You know what I mean? And I also thought about. I would also like to do teaching if I could. I think I'd be a good teacher. Those are my three. But teaching is a lot of school. That's the only problem with that. It's like I was saying before. How do you tell a 19-year-old that it's not worth that going to your head? That the art is beautiful at such a minuscule level. How do I tell? Is pushing my beliefs even right? Am I right? I don't know if I'm even right. That's another question. What if I'm wrong? What if it's good to have an ego? Giving a bunch of 16-year-olds ego death maybe is not the best solution for their lives, especially if they're going to carry on and try to get jobs. Maybe I'm not the best influence for someone that doesn't want to live with their parents. But I try to help people when they come to me. So what is my worth in the community, I guess, is that would be my military experience, and I'm a good teacher, and I'm a good mentor for people in my community, or at least I have been. I'm treating this like a job application. It sounds like a fucking job application. It sounds like a job application where I just ranted about God for 30 minutes before getting to what I was trying to say. That's funny. Why do you want to work here? I'm gonna die someday. So, like, doing something would be way cooler than, like, being homeless. Dude, I'll be real. Just dead ass. I feel like humans have so much they don't say to each other. Sorry, I'm gonna lay down now and just talk. Yeah. Humans have so much that they just don't communicate. And they don't want to communicate because they feel like it's rude. And they create little circles and squares and triangles and trapezoids around language and what you can say or how you can say something, or how you can be in a certain situation, or the proper way to do a thing. And we can't just it makes life easier if you put things into squares and triangles, but it also makes it so difficult to just speak frankly about what needs to happen. So what is my self-worth? I had it's so funny. It's so funny that before I started streaming, I had this answer, and then I started thinking about God, and I'm like, well, fuck, that's a whole tangent. So I'm going to stream this so I can record this, and then I can put all these thoughts into a thing, and then I can actually talk about. So why am I valuable? To me. What makes me valuable to me? Not not how am I valuable to God, not how am I valuable to my community, but how am I valuable to me? That's the question, I guess. What is the goal? What is the end goal? I think experiencing life, just being a part of the wow, stealing. I'm stealing. I'm not going to tell where I'm stealing from, but I'm stealing. Being a part of the cog and everything, that all the little things that happen, everything, all the people, and all the people doing things, and all the people talking about things, and all the people moving around in pieces and doing all these things, and the humanness of it, and moving from one place and interacting with a random stranger and moving to another thing. I want to be a part of that. And I think school, why am I going to school? School is a great place to mingle with all these people and be a part of life. Just like I said earlier, with the cabin in the woods, as a guy that would want to be secluded and private, and with the trees, and with the ants, and with the bugs, I want to be with the people and feel the concrete on my feet, the same concrete that other people are feeling on their feet. And when we all turn to mush and dust. Wow, I'm actually like finishing an essay. This is fucking crazy. This is awesome. Okay. That was a good thought. That was a good one. Fucking my music paused and I'm pissed off that happened. Oh, I just played the next song. So, I want to be surrounded by humans that are doing things, and I want to be surrounded by humans that are young and yearning and wanting for. What's up, Tenzin? I want to be surrounded by humans that are wanting for a life that is true. They want and not set in their ways or beaten down by the way life is and the way the rigid systems that are put in place by people that hate humans. And most humans hate humans, so we all agree to this, to be worms in the factory machine, which is what the college system is, if you really think about it. It's just another tool for the gearbox to just churn out debt Just churn out debt and unhappy people. And it makes, unhappy people that are doing nothing. But there's a small group, not a small group, I'd say there's every kid that goes off to college is not, most of them I would hopefully say is that aren't doomed just yet. And I want to be able to catch that glimpse of life in humanity before it fades out of all their eyes. And I want to be able to experience that before I see it fade. Maybe forever. Maybe not forever. But each life is important. And maybe me being there. This is how I tie the community into it. This is fucking amazing. I'm going to be accepted to college. Let's fucking go. Maybe by being there, I can stop a few of those lights from... I just gotta be able to fucking write this well. God, I suck at writing. I used to be somewhat decent, but now I'm fucking awful, dude. Oh, God. I hate starting sentences. I wish I could just be one big sentence. You know what I mean? Maybe by being around these people, I can stop these lights from going out in their eyes and maybe save a few people from and lifelong depression. That's the goal. Have a good time. Do some drugs, drink a lot. Go to some Ten's in the chat, so go to some emo band shows. Drive up to Wisconsin, see my buddy. These are the this is what I want to do with my life. And maybe every soul that I save will be a good enough gift for God. Yeah, that's the thought. Thank you for listening. I'm happy with where I ended. If you're still here, bye-bye. I'm going to peace out. This stream will stay up if you want to listen to it ever. Throw your own background music on. I don't care. Good night, guys.